Hi, thanks for joining the SG Child Show today. I have a really great guest, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Nathaniel Turner. I'm going to let you say all of the extra things, because you know it best. But co-founder of the League of Extraordinary Parents, and we're going to get into what that means more in this conversation. But before that, hello, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself and let us know, how you're doing today.
Well, first, I'm going to say thank you for having me. I'm grateful for the
Yeah.
opportunity to be here. Hopefully, I'll say something meaningful that your guests can use.
Oh.
I'm Nathaniel Turner, and I just simply say this to anyone who asks me who I am. I am the son of Tommy L. and Gladys T. Turner. I am the husband of Latanya, the father of Naeem, the
Mm.
brother of Kimberly, and a few other people. And I'm a guy who's originally from Gary, Indiana. And so I always tell people Gary, Indiana made me who I am, good or bad.
Oh, I love that. And we always kind of take a piece of where we're from with us throughout our lives, no matter what that looks like.
Mm.
I think I'm from Reno, the biggest little city. Like, I feel like that's who I am, like the biggest little person I could be all the time. So I've never even said that sentence in my life, and it just sounds perfect.
Well, good. Now you
I
can
love it.
say it more often,
I am.
right?
I'm going
Yep.
to. Thank you. Thanks. We've
Yep.
already learned something. Podcast. No, I'm just joking.
No. Can I say this? Like the reason that I feel like it's useful to say that is because a lot of stuff I think we do is pretentious. And as I mentioned to you before we started, my grandmother just passed. And so when you think about an obituary or you think about, sadly, I mean, it sounds sad to some people, but it's a part of life.
Yeah.
Those last 10 to 12 words that appear on your tomb or your urn won't talk about what I did professionally, won't talk about how much money you made or car you drove or anything like that. It'll just talk about who you were to a handful of people. That
Yeah.
when someone else in history comes by and walks by your tomb or your grave or picks up your urn, they'll say, "Oh, okay, somebody thought he was a nice person. He was a good father. He was, like, I've never seen anything that says he was a billionaire. Right? Like he owned this number of businesses. It will just talk about the quality of my character. So and who brought me here. So I like to talk about the trees because I'm somebody's fruit, and I like to mention that
Love that.
that I'm a tree and I'll leave and someone will be my fruit, and that's the way I like to approach it.
I think that's so beautiful, and I appreciate you sharing that so much. What got you into your experience of what you're doing today?
So by profession for the last 30 years, I am a lawyer by training and an accountant, and I've run a separate financial services company for about the last 30 years. But what got me into this space with parenting is a child. And this child that I so love, that 31 years ago, my wife told me it's plus, and I had to figure out how to be a better father than the father I had. And that child, his life has been remarkable. And because of all of the great things he's been able to do, people would begin to ask, well, what did you all do for him? And then the conversation became, well, can you do it for other people's children? And so we thought, well, sure, absolutely. And so then we started this organization called the League of Extraordinary Parents, so we could help other parents backward design their own children's lives, and so that their children could have extraordinary lives, hopefully equal or greater to the life that our son has had.
Wow, that's so special. I think a lot of amazing organizations are built off of the passions of parents and their experiences on a daily basis. And mine, a great example, I also have, a nonprofit, and it's
Mm-hmm.
based around autism safety because I see the need for the knowledge, the training, the resources that comes with that. And that's a big, broad statement to make. But, there isn't, when you are in community, sometimes you see the gaps and you see
Mm-hmm.
these things when you have a child with any kind of need, really, and you see a gap, you want to see that it can be filled build it yourself. Like
Right.
there are, those things that you do. And those of us who have the blessing and the opportunity to go and build ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
what an honor and a creation that we are able to take on and do. Tell us a little bit about the organization and kind of the need it fulfills.
Well, first, I'm going to say to you that what you've done, what you're doing is to be commended. I'm sure people commend you all the time, but
Thank
I
you.
don't get to commend you. This is my first time.
Thanks.
So I want to say, because what I've experienced during this journey is that so many parents prefer to wait for someone else to do it. And so many parents prefer to outsource the opportunity. I would say responsibility, but it really is an opportunity to do something unique. They wait for somebody else to do it. And so when I hear you say, okay, there's this need and this gap and I'm going to fill it, I think that that's extraordinary. And I think people
Thank
should
you.
should acknowledge that. So
Oh,
that's what I want to say
thanks.
first. Yep.
Appreciate that so much. And I couldn't agree more. Like I feel sometimes that I've lived like 100 lives and all the entrepreneurship that I've done and ideas and creations and all of the businesses I want to run. And there's just too much. But and it's a lot to take on as just a me. But that's when I find that there are these other individuals out there
Mm-hmm.
like yourself who also have that desire to fill these cups of not only the parents, but then for the whole family, for their
Right.
friends, their work, relations, everything is uplifted when we spend time just putting a little bit of care and effort into ourselves as parents and into other parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you did ask me a question, and now I forgot it because I was telling you the other part. So if you
It's
want
okay, me too.
to,
We'll just move on from there. No, let's see. Oh, well, I mean, let's just talk about the League of Extraordinary Parents. How, like, where'd you come up with the idea of the name? I love that.
sure. Yeah, so I would be lying if I didn't say that I saw the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen once upon a time and thought, well, the League of Extraordinary. Okay, how about parents? What about parents being extraordinary? And of course, I shouldn't say of course. The fact that I'm trained as a lawyer, lawyers have this obligation. It's called to be a zealous advocate. And so I've thought about that in the same way of a parent. I think parents should be zealous advocates for their children, and you sort of combine the ideals behind what is a good lawyer and what is an extraordinary gentleman, and you come up with the League of Extraordinary Parents. So
Oh.
that's sort of where it begins.
And what do you do? Is it community based, like a physical space that you do? What does that look like?
So honestly, we're evolving, and we're, as most things are. Hopefully, continue to evolve. But what it started out initially was just a way to share with families this process we call backward design. It's not. It's not ours to own. It's a process that educators use for a long time, where you say, okay, what do I want my students to learn by the time this semester is over, and then you take this backward approach. What do I need to do in week 1, week 2, week 3, so that when I'm at week 15, they've learned everything I wanted to learn. We thought about the same thing in terms of parenting. What if we start to think about life by backward design? So when Latanya, who's my wife, and she says to me that it's plus, I'm in law school and I'm, Sarah, going to be graduating soon, and I don't have a job, and I'm from Gary, Indiana originally, and most people think that I've done phenomenal. Like, hey, you got out of Gary and you're going to be a lawyer now. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm unemployed. And I didn't, and why am I unemployed? So you start to ask these questions and you go backward and you think, oh, well, my parents really didn't have a plan. Most of my life, it's been luck. It's been happenstance. I've been prepared, right? That's what Seneca says. Luck is where preparation and opportunity meet. I've been prepared for some of the opportunities, but maybe some other opportunities I could have had, I just wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
And what can I do so that my child is better situated than I am? So Latanya and I wrote Harvard for an application. And we thought, well, what if we could prepare a child? Should Harvard provide them an opportunity to attend that they could get there and not be laughed at if they submitted an application? And so that was the initial goal. Like, just how do we help our own child be able to do better than us, which meant at the time, how do we get them prepared to submit an application to a school like Harvard and not have Harvard laugh at them?
Wow.
That's sort of where it started. Yep.
And it really drives that curiosity and that like dignity, it feels like inside, where you're just like, we're going to do this and we're going to make sure that the opportunities are better, that there are more clear, processes, that there's more access. I'm all about accessibility and
Right.
access, and the first part of belonging is being invited, right? And I think that you're starting that process, that invitation process. I love that.
Yeah. So then we got the application. We wrote Harvard because it was a long time ago. So you had to write, and you get the mailers. You send it off, and it comes back. And Harvard sent us an application for an unborn child. And we took the application and broke it down and realized that there were, beyond the fact that Harvard expected children with great grades and great test scores. That's the obvious part. But then there was two other things embedded in the application. And the second thing was that Harvard in 1994 were looking for students who were world citizens. And the third element was they were looking for students who cared for something greater than themselves. And we thought, wow, that's something. Right. So now we call these three elements, these three pillars, intellectual ambition, global and cultural competency, and humanitarian drive. And that's the template we use and we share with families. You can pick whatever school you want your child to attend. But my suspicion is most institutions will have some version of that as a part of their mission.
Yeah.
They'll say they want students, of course, they demand students with great grades and great test scores. The more the elite the school, the higher the test scores, the better the grades. But they will also ask you, what kind of citizen is your child? And we live in a big world, but the world is small. Sarah's in Utah and Nate is in Indianapolis area. And but for this technology, Sarah and Nate don't ever get to meet each other.
Right?
And so now the world is big, but the world is small enough for Sarah and Nate, two people who probably otherwise would never have any reaction, to be able to have that.
I love it.
And then the last part was, hey, can you raise somebody who's going to lead the planet better? You can there are a lot of elite people who go to elite schools and make a whole lot of money and care nothing about anybody. And they come and they go from the planet and we didn't know that they were even here. But can you raise somebody who is going to do something indelible and make the world better than it was when they got here? So that's the life template. And now we share that with families and the tools and strategies to bring whatever it is they want for their children to life.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Give us an idea of what that looks like. How do we guide our child down a path of humanitarianism and like really caring for others?
Well, I would say the first thing, we talked about earlier, the first thing is to take a deep look at ourselves. And my grandmother used to tell me all the time, trees and fruit. I really, at the time, I won't say I fully understand it, but I fully understand it now. That sadly, most parents want their children to be something that they themselves are not. And so I think it begins with us. You're going to be a reflection of your child. And whenever your child, I remember my mother and father, my father in particular, would tell me, that's my name. Don't mess up my name. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. Before you got it, it belonged to me. And before I got it, it belonged to somebody else. And then you start to understand the weight of that. Okay, you're right. If I looked and read a chapter from a Bible in the very beginning, I would hear so-and-so begot so-and-so, and so-and-so begot so-and-so, and so-and-so begot so-and-so. And you start to then trace your ancestry. You see, oh, well, I came from this person, and this person did this. And you realize that I'm just one part of a branch on this long tree, but I have a huge responsibility. So I think that's the very first place that we have to start, is having parents to take a look at themselves. Once you figure out who you are and can be honest about that, then you start to say, like you would with a GPS, when I know where I am, only then where I'm going will it make sense,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I could pick a destination, but if you ask me where am I and I can't tell you where I am, it doesn't matter where I want to go.
Right?
Right.
Spin in circles.
Right, exactly. I want to go, but where are you, Nate? I don't know where I am. Well, so that's the first thing, to be honest with oneself and figure out where you are. And then that's what we ask parents. Where are you? And then what are your hopes and dreams? Because that's the destination. What are your hopes and dreams for your child? But where are you? Like, where are you in terms of your commitment to your child? Where are you in terms of your understanding of your time? Where are you with recognizing that you cannot have everything, not all at one time. You might be able to have everything, but you can't have everything all at once. Something, right? Somebody has to take a back seat. And for me, as the parent who invited this guest to the planet, I should take the back seat, and they're what they need should come first. So,
I think parenting has come so far in an era where I really feel like I was kind of like just this product that I had to just take care of yourself. Please just make it through the day, and we hope we see you at the other end of it. Okay. We'll meet up at the other end, and we hope you're there.
right.
And now we have this, at least me, I've taken the opportunity to really be involved in my kids' lives. I don't want to just know that I could see them from 5 to 8:30 or 9, and once
Yeah.
in the morning. Like
Yeah.
when I had the opportunity to stay home, and the opportunity was obligation as well. And so I think that, for me, it was kind of like a learned experience, but
Mm-hmm.
I see the blessing, and I feel the wonderful opportunity it provided me to build connections that couldn't have been built in any other way,
Right.
other than me showing up every single day saying, I see you, I see where you're at. Like, what
Yep.
what should we do today? What do we need to work on? How should we play today? How should we, I think curiosity, when we show up curious as parents,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
give our kids everything they need then. You said something earlier too that I think is just such a key thing to unlocking like the experience with people. And I don't know what it is now. I'm trying that right that sentence just popped right out like like a bubble out of my brain. But we'll come, I'm sure that you'll say it and it'll come full circle.
Okay. All right. All right.
But the point is that it really intentional.
Mm-hmm.
We're so much more intentional. When my husband and I found out very unexpectedly that we were pregnant in an emergency room after a car
Mm.
accident, and they said,
Wow.
"You're pregnant," and we went, "Wait, what? We're
What?
just here to get an X-ray."
Right.
Like, what are you
Right.
talking about? we we I feel like we got to plan it. Like we were like, oh, what? Like we get to plan this experience. And I feel like it didn't happen that way in the past. I shouldn't say that. My experience was not like that for me. My
Yeah.
personal experience coming into this world was like, good luck.
Mine either.
Yeah. And so
Mine
to
either.
have this experience to be who we can be as educators, as people who go even one step further and say, let's share this wonderful like success we're finding, that we
Mm-hmm.
found this, within our home kind of bounds and everything. We have, there's not a lot of fighting. There's no anxiety. There's like a real sense of belonging and being and accommodating
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
everyone's needs from where they're at. That doesn't mean that people don't have bad moods. It doesn't
Right.
mean that we're not human beings having human experiences.
Absolutely.
It means that we all have this understanding of one another in a way that wasn't something we had experienced growing up, that we're now like, we look at each other, and it'll be our 16th anniversary, but we've been together for 22 years, and we just think, how did we're so lucky. How did we get to do this, to build this together, to intentionally create the space for people? And I'm so lucky. I'm just so lucky. And that's why you and I get together today, because, we're just in that same
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. I'm definitely grateful. And to your point, very fortunate to be able to do that. In terms of intentionality, I wanted to be like Mufasa. So my intention from the very beginning was to have this experience with my son similar to Mufasa and Simba, where Simba asked Mufasa, but we're pals, right? We'll always be pals. And the intentionality that I had then when I learned I was going to be a father to this very day is to be my son's pal.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean, and I hear when I tough to tell parents, it doesn't mean that he and I won't disagree.
Yeah.
It hasn't meant that sometimes I don't have to discipline him.
Right.
It doesn't mean that at times he disciplines me, because now he's a grown man and even before he was a grown man, when he was a child, right is right. Right doesn't have an age limit on it. So, but we've had a great relationship where my objective is to be his pal. And I would say to folks, I said, especially men, they would say, well, you can't be your son's friend. And I said, but I don't understand the logic in that.
Yeah.
I am responsible for the creation of something. At least 50% of my genetic code exists in this entity, and it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Nobody else has this code. And you're telling me I shouldn't be friends with that entity? Like,
Right?
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Crazy.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's been my intentional thing, to be
I love
able to
that.
say that he and I are pals.
I love that you said that. And I say the same thing. This is why we're here today, because we're just on the same wavelength. I would say my 14-year-old is my best friend from the 90s. Like, I've never had such a best friend from the 90s in my life than this, like, ride or die chick.
Right.
What the heck? Like, how did
Right.
I get so lucky?
Right.
But she also embodies all of the things I don't. This, like, sense of this confidence and this bravery and this kind of astute, I don't know. I was a product of a military and medical field, and it was just very,
Regimented.
yeah. And with her, it's just like I've planted her and watered and watched her bloom, and it's like she's a different flower than I've ever experienced, and the best smell and most colorful. And I'm, wow, how can I like love this more? And no, it's, I also say to people so many times, what about in 15 years? What do you want that to look like? Who do you want to be talking to this person? Do you want them in your life? Because I'm experiencing that. I have an older stepdaughter that we don't have contact, and there is no communication. And, it probably doesn't hurt as deeply and as bad for me as it does for my husband, who is that's his child. That's his first child. And,
yes.
and I could never, our children could never replace like that space or that spot. And so I think that now there's like an opportunity that he also sees to create these relationships with the kids we have the opportunities with now. And, that was coming from a teen parent who did the best that they could. They did the best they could, but when you don't know, like, right. And then when you learn, you do better. And then you have the opportunity to create so much more. So,
and hopefully as she gains more wisdom and experience, she'll extend him grace and mercy with that, because we all are going to need grace and mercy at some point. And you cannot, I always say that grace and mercy are like our hands. Your hand moves the same way to receive as it does to give. Like the same muscles are used. So your heart has to do the same thing. If you want people to love you, you're going to have to love equally and oftentimes first. So hopefully one day she'll come to that understanding.
Definitely. And become different people. And I think that, when you grow and you have the opportunity to look back, and you can make the choices and take those opportunities if you choose to,
Yep.
reconnect or leave it the way it is. Like, that's
Yeah.
definitely
And,
individual, right?
and
So,
and things in the past, they're in the past. And the only way we give things in the past life is to just keep relitigating
yeah.
things that you
Okay.
could also decide. You're right. You could decide that I'm just going to use this as a learning lesson. I'm
Yeah.
going to move on and I'm going to find joy. Or you can decide to tell whatever story you want to tell. The
Yeah.
facts are set. Like, how you decide to interpret the story is completely up to you.
Well, from now on until from this moment forward, relitigation is exactly what I'm saying, because I'm a former paralegal, and there's nothing
Right.
I
You
would
get it.
not want more
You
than
get it. You
that.
get it.
Thank you very much. And I don't, most people that don't have a legal background, they may not understand, but that's okay.
You get it.
That's
Absolutely.
so beautiful. I love that. Oh gosh. It's so great to have such a special opportunity in life to be able to enjoy our our where we're at, enjoy our, what am I trying to say,
Your
our role,
journey.
our
Yeah.
role of who we're supposed, like this person we showed up and are having to be at this point, and we're
Mhm.
taking the opportunity to enjoy it and to help
Mhm.
people look and to see how they can better appreciate and enjoy it for themselves as well. Tell us more about where we can find out more information about the League of Extraordinary Parents.
Sure. It's our website is www. I guess I don't even have to say that anymore. L League X, as in X-ray, TRAP, trap. So lxtrap.com. That's where you can find us.
Okay. Did I do that right?
You did. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I was also
Excellent.
trying to type out the other one at the same time. That didn't work out as fast, but you could see it right. If you're watching, you can see lxtrap.com. If you're listening, that's lxtrap.com, and go find out more about the League of Extraordinary Parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that we got to make this connection, and I got to visit Indiana and you got to come to Utah, right? And
Well, my son's been to Utah. He was there years ago doing an internship
oh,
in Salt Lake
wonderful.
City at the University of.
Yeah, University of Utah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. It's a great place. We love their healthcare and all of the stuff they do. So big fans of that. That's wonderful. And where's he at now?
He's here in Indiana now. He was there as an undergrad, trying to do enough things to move on to earn his PhD, which he did. So that was
Wow.
2015 or
Did he go to
2016 when
Harvard?
he was in Utah. He went to Carnegie Mellon
Okay.
for his PhD in electrical and computer engineering. Then he went to NYU for his
Wow.
MBA in finance.
Incredible.
And somebody else paid for it. So that was intentional too.
Hey.
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm sure you're just so proud of the wonderful man that he has become, it sounds like. And just great job. Great job parenting, Nate. I'm proud of you. There's
Not
your
by myself. I'm grateful. All the other people who've actually poured into his life and decided to be a part of his village that helps him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
isn't it true? And
Yep.
when we have those people that support us in our life like that, I love that so much. And were you guys close to your grandmas? You said that they were like in close vicinity to each other and everything.
So my grandmother still lived in Gary. So I am about 2 hours and 15 minutes from where my grandmother lived. So I would say the last 6-7 years, I've seen her more than during that time than I had. I don't know, maybe in 20 years. I would see her certainly like on holidays and stuff like that. But my father passed in 2018, and I made her a promise that I would do a better job since her son was no longer here.
Yeah.
I'd do a better job of sort of filling in as best as I could. So
Oh,
I saw her a lot more.
wow.
Yep.
And how about your son? Did he got to see that probably relationship and got to see that care for.
He did, but not as much as I would hope. I mean, she knew him, he knew her, but they didn't. They don't. I don't. So she was my grandmother.
Yeah.
So his great
Great
grandmother. So it
grandmother.
was kind of the same way it was with her mom. I didn't know her mother that
Yeah.
well either, but yeah.
And
But he
it's
did know her. Did spend some time with her.
big generation gaps there.
Big generation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff has changed
Right.
since those
Somebody born
days.
in 1925 and then someone born in
Yeah.
1995.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. My grandfather was born in 1926. And
Okay.
I think he passed away at 96.
Okay.
So he was close. He was, in that
Yeah.
late 90s
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
it's just, I remember him. He was up on his roof when he was 92 fixing his shingles. He was a homework. He just did everything working all the time on his home. And he fell off the roof and he had to be helicoptered to the hospital. And I went and I told him, you could have, I know that you did this so you could go on this helicopter ride. You know that you like, I know you were safe on that roof. I had given him a bad time. I'm like, you just waited because you wanted to go on this helicopter ride, didn't you?
He lived. He did it his way, which
He
is
did it. Yeah,
very
exactly.
much like my grandmother. She lived by herself for 100 years. I
Oh,
mean, she lived by herself all but 2 months. I'm sorry,
wow.
of her life. The last 2 months she did not live by herself, but the
Yeah.
rest of the time she lived on her own.
Just
And
incredible grit and
Grandma, stop walking up the stairs. Grandma, get off the ladder. I was like, used to myself with my sister. I was like, leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Oh, that's
Leave her
so
alone.
great.
She
Let her do
might
her thing.
fall.
Yeah.
Yes, and she might fall and break her neck. Yep. And if she does, she will have lived life the way she wanted to.
I remember he had remarried. Who does that at 85 and is right and has another marriage? And she would say, well, he only wants to eat cookies for dinner. And I'd say, let him eat cookies. Are you kidding? He earns cookies for dinner. Like, give him every kind of cookie.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. Absolutely.
I love it. This has been such a wonderful discussion and time spent with you. Thank you so much. And
been my pleasure.
if you have, things that are coming up, workshops, books, anything else you're working on, please come back and share with us so that we can also support you in any way. And social medias, where are you at?
I have a little bit of a presence, not enough. We're working with a brand strategist now, so they're going to help us to figure out how to make that work. If you're ever interested in an organization that does a great job with not-for-profits, I've got a wonderful organization to share with you. They're called the Bureau of Small Projects.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're phenomenal.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, whenever we can, go support. I mean, at least go to the website and go see how you can access the information and find out if you could get any, support from Nathaniel and his League of Extraordinary Parents. So
yep.
Thank you so much. It was
my pleasure.
Great. This is great.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I really look forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely.
Empowering voices, meaningful resources, stronger connections. Be a part of it. This is the Neurodivergent Resource Podcast. Join us.